it's me, Shani, and today I'm going to be showing you my bottom 10 eyeshadow palettes of 2020. So this year I decided to break up my eyeshadow palette ranking video of 2020 into two parts because I have a lot of palettes to review. So in the first video I have the top 15, so I go from 15 to my number one palette of the year, and these are palettes I've tried in 2020. They didn't necessarily come out in 2020, but you know, some of them did. Some of them I just tried this year. They're older palettes, you know, it varies. But so I did the top 15, so definitely look out for that. That's already up on my channel, and you can find out my top, you know, my top 15, my top 5, my number one palette. That's such a, you know, that's a big deal. But I wanted to still feature my bottom 10, so we're going to go from, you know, basically number 16 to number 25. So we're gonna lead up to my least favorite eyeshadow palette. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and just know if you love these palettes, there's not much wrong with them. It's just different preferences. Everybody has different preferences. So let's just get right into it. And actually, before we do, I want to tell you what is on my eyes today. I did a more vampy, colorful look today. I hope you guys like it. And I did use the Juvia's Place Masquerade Mini eyeshadow palette. This is not a new palette. I've had it in my collection for a while, but I thought I wanted to pull it out, and I put on my Instagram, which is Shake Up Makeup Shan. Definitely follow me there. I asked if I should do a neutral look or a colorful look, and you guys voted for colorful, so I did use like the purples and stuff in this palette. And I don't know, I did have to pull in a black because I wanted a black in the outer corner, but I did really like doing a look with this. It was really fun. So that's just if you were wondering, but let's get into my bottom 10 eyeshadow palettes. So coming in at number 10 of my bottom half is the Frozen 2 ColourPop Anna eyeshadow palette. So this one I actually do really like. This is kind of in the middle of my list, even though it's in my bottom 10. I actually do really enjoy this little palette. It came out when Frozen 2 came out, and I absolutely love Disney movies, and I really wanted this one. I think I resonate with Anna as well. She's just super, it's just such a cute movie, and I really liked watching Frozen 2, but there is a pressed glitter, and that just, I don't like the pressed glitter, and I also don't like this matte with shimmer in it. It's the shade Warm Hugs. So Warm Hugs and Arendelle I really don't like. I don't like pressed glitters, and I don't really like mattes with shimmer, but the rest of the shades I do enjoy. We've got these shimmers, we've got the mattes, and I love the purpley gold vibes here, but because of the two shades I don't like, I guess I just don't reach for this as much. Again, beautiful color story. I don't know, I feel like I end up creating the same types of looks with it, so I only reach for it every once in a while, and I don't find myself going back to it, so that's why it's a little bit in the middle of the ranking. But you know, definitely style points for Disney and for the packaging and everything. I do love it, and I'm going to keep it in my collection, but that's my thoughts on that. Then we have number 17, or number 9. It is the, you know, 17 in the whole list, but 9 in this video. The Nomad Cosmetics Studio 54 eyeshadow palette. This is a little quad, and it's really beautiful, and I actually love the concept of Studio 54. My dad plays in disco bands, and he used to have a disco band named Studio 54, so I have a personal connection to this guy. But my boyfriend actually got this for me, and it is 4 like multi-chromes, and they're beautiful, but they don't pack as much of a punch as what I wanted. Here, I'll show you. Like, the pink and the yellow are really beautiful. These two, the green and the blue, are just more shimmery. They're not so much multi-chromes, as from what I've found. Let me just show you. Like, see, it's hardly showing up, so it's beautiful. Like, they're absolutely beautiful. The shimmer to them are gorgeous, but it hardly shows up. It really hardly shows up, and so I had to rank it lower because it's not, I don't know, it didn't blow my socks off, so I hardly ever reach for this little quad because I like to reach for palettes that give me a full moment where I can use it from start to finish, but also I think I'd reach for it more if they packed more of a punch. But like you can see that they're pretty, and this goes from like a yellow to pink, and this is like a pink to blue, but I don't know, it's just very, very light shimmery. It's not as much of a bam in your face type of thing. So definitely keeping it around, but it wasn't exactly what I had hoped it would be. So number 8 would be, surprisingly, the Soft Glam palette from Anastasia. I absolutely love the formula here. I love this palette, I really do. I got this for Christmas last year, so it's included in this because I hadn't tried it until 2020, and I absolutely love it. I love everything about this palette because of the glitter, like the shimmers and the mattes. I love the Anastasia formula, but I did rank it lower because I'm just not so much of a neutral lover anymore. I hardly reach for neutrals. I'm always going colorful, so I hardly reach for this guy. Again, gorgeous, beautiful quality, and when I want a neutral palette, I will reach for it, but I don't know, I feel like I have other neutral palettes I reach for more because this is a newer palette, so it's not like my tried and true. But yeah, definitely will keep, definitely will use more hopefully when I'm feeling the neutral vibes, but it's just, I'm not a big neutral gal anymore. So yeah, this one's kind of a weird one because I do love the formula, but I don't reach for it. So that is that. Then number 7 is the Sugar Pill Capsule 1 collection. Now this is a funny story. This would be ranked so much higher. This would be in my top 15 if I didn't break it. So this I got in March, I believe, and it is so beautiful. It's such a colorful dream. You have a blush, you have the purples, the pinks, and the greens and the blues, but I actually lost 2 shimmer shades because I was traveling with it, and they broke completely. And ever since those 2 shades broke, I totally have been ignoring this palette because it's just not complete. It almost makes me sad because I think about how pretty those shades were. It was a light pink shimmer and a purple shimmer, and I just totally miss those shades, and so it's just not as complete. Even though these mattes are so pigmented and beautiful and the shimmers are so gorgeous, let me swatch some of them for you. I just like don't even want to reach for it anymore. So this is kind of an interesting one. I totally like they're so nice and colorful and pigmented, but I just don't, I don't know, I guess it makes me sad that the 2 fell out. So this one's kind of an odd situation. It totally would be higher. I totally recommend it, but my personal one, it makes me sad. So yep, that is my number 7, I believe. Number 6 is the Hasina 2 from Blush Tribe. This, honestly, the color story is absolutely beautiful. Blush Tribe was going away. They were going out of business, so I wanted to try them before they ended, and I did purchase this palette in maybe April or May, and the shimmers here are absolutely gorgeous. Let me swatch a few for you. They're just so beautiful, the shimmers. Like, I absolutely love it. It's so shimmery and like metallic and shiny, but the mattes absolutely suck. Oh my gosh, the mattes are so patchy and really hard to work with, so I would totally rate this higher if the mattes were better, but I was not impressed. Especially the purples were absolutely terrible, and really I only like the shimmers in this palette, so it had to go lower because of that. Alright, I'm gonna run out, I'm gonna forget the numbers. Number 5, I believe, is the Sassy Siennas from Dose of Colors. I actually got this from an antique store, brand new. I couldn't believe it. They had some makeup items that were, brand new, and I picked this one up because I love Dose of Colors eyeshadow formula. I have tried it before, and I've never tried their 5-pan little matte palettes like this, and the quality is absolutely amazing. I totally would recommend these. And I do like these shades, but again, I'm not a huge neutral fan, and a lot of these are neutrals besides these pinks over here. So I just don't reach for this, and it's an all matte palette, so I don't always reach for all matte palettes when, you know, I can reach for a matte and shimmer palette. So yeah, this is just kind of lower because I don't reach for it much, but the quality is very good. It's just more neutral leaning, but I'm glad I have it in my collection. I'm glad I, you know, tried their 5-pan matte formula in a palette, so I'll definitely hang on to it. It's just something I don't reach for much. Alright, number 4 for the worst is the Hello Charmers BoxyCharm eyeshadow palette. This actually really blew me away. I never knew BoxyCharm made eyeshadows or anything for that matter, but I got this in my BoxyCharm in probably March, I think, and I actually really was impressed with the formula here. It's a great formula. The mattes are really smooth and nice, and the shimmers are absolutely gorgeous, and like this glitter is so incredible, like oh my gosh. But I just never reach for it. I think it's a really weird color scheme. Like I like the colorful shades, but they're just kind of thrown in there, and I don't always reach for neutrals, so it just was kind of a weird. Here, I don't know where I'm like swatching. See, like they're beautiful. Like look at that glitter. It's gorgeous, but I just don't, I don't know, I don't reach for this palette because the color scheme doesn't really inspire me, and I think that's a big deal for me. If you watch my top 15, you'll see the color schemes that really inspire me. But this one, I feel like they just kind of threw it together, and the majority is neutral, and I don't love neutral shades. Like I would rather go for colorful shades, so that's just kind of why this palette went under the radar for me. But I do really like the formula. It really did impress me. So there is that. We have number 3 is the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean eyeshadow palette. This I absolutely love the color scheme of, actually. It's, you know, the blue and green grungy neutral looking eyeshadow palette, and I absolutely love that color scheme, but in here the mattes just absolutely suck for me. I do not enjoy e.l.f. mattes a lot of the time. In the bite-sized eyeshadows, I think they're getting better with the matte formula, but here it's just not that good. It's not that pigmented. It's a bit patchy, so I hardly reach for this because of the mattes, but the shimmers are actually really beautiful. Like let me see. I don't know, like if you look, like they're actually really nice. Like look at those shimmers, like that's really really pretty, but I just can't get over that the mattes are bad, so I never really reach for this for the shimmers, because I have a ton of beautiful shimmers in my collection, so I just hardly reach for this one. I got this one for Easter actually this year, and I want to keep it around because the shimmers are amazing, but I just wish I enjoyed the matte formula better. So that's how I feel about this one. And then we have 2 left. Number 2 is the Studio Makeup Ease to Wear eyeshadow palette. This is from one of my BoxyCharms, and I actually enjoyed the formula on this one as well. It is just very neutral. Again, I'm not a big neutral fan these days. And also it's like a perfect dupe for Sultry from Anastasia, and I actually really enjoy Sultry palette, the Sultry eyeshadow palette. So this just, I felt like it was a dupe in my collection. Like I don't need both palettes, and I like the Sultry from Anastasia better than I like this one, even though this formula is good, you know what I mean? So yeah, so this one just is actually going in my makeup artistry kit. I do makeups, you know, sometimes for other people. I am a licensed cosmetologist, if you didn't know, so this is going in my makeup artistry kit. I'm not even going to use it on myself anymore. You know, it'll be everything will be sanitized, but I don't know. I just wasn't crazy impressed with it. It's a good formula, but I have a palette just like it, and I also don't reach for neutrals as much, so that's how I feel about this guy. And lastly, my worst palette of 2020, this god-awful year in a lot of ways, my worst palette is surprisingly, the Kevyn Aucoin Jewel Pop Face and Eye palette. I got this in the summer from TJ Maxx, and I actually really enjoyed it at first. I thought it was a great palette. I was super excited, but I realized I didn't actually enjoy the eyeshadows in here. I'm definitely keeping this for the bronzer and the blush. I actually used it today, the bronzer and blush, and I absolutely love the face palette, the face part of this palette, but the eyeshadows really are not good, and so this is why it is number one of my least favorite palette, the worst palettes. Moonstone is really good. I have a big dip in there just because it's like my everyday shade all over the lid as a primer, but the shimmers in here are just very chalky, like almost just chunky when you touch them. I don't know, they're just very, I don't know, they're not easy to work with, and I don't enjoy them, and the color scheme is just really random. Like, at first I thought they were nice, but they're just all over the place. I don't know, they're not the nicest shimmers. They're just more chunky, and I wanted to use citrine in my inner corner, and it just was very chunky and not what I wanted. So this is, I don't know, it just had to be last on the list because I never reach for this anymore for the eyeshadows when I used to think they were okay, but they're just not impressive, not as good as any of my other shadows really. So that's how I feel about this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please check out my top 15 eyeshadow palettes. I think that'll be a much more positive video, but I'll catch you next time. I hope you have a great day. Bye.